Today marks 10 years since the disappearance of Christopher Douthat, a Franklin County man whose mother says she dropped off at work and never saw him again. In the last decade, Virginia State Police has taken over the case as his family begs for closure. WDBJ 7 Sophia Borrelli spoke with them and shares the latest in our first Unsolved Virginia story.
Somebody knows something. People just don't disappear. They just don't vanish out of thin air.
For 10 years, the Douthat family has never given up hope, searching for answers as to what happened to Christopher Douthat. Mary Douthat says her son loved to fish, hunt, and play guitar. Michael describes his brother as a wonderful man.
He loved his family, that just tried his best to treat others how he'd want to be treated. The golden rule. That's what he lived by.
On October 25th, 2013, Christopher was never seen or heard from again.
He didn't deserve what happened to him.
His family reported him missing to Vinton Police, who then turned over the case to Virginia State Police in January of 2018. Senior Special Agent Douglas Hubert is the lead investigator.
Somebody out there probably does hold these puzzle pieces that I need to put this case together.
Hubert says he's been able to put a timeline together for that Friday back in 2013. Christopher's mother, Mary, drove him to Vinton Roofing, where he worked.
Last thing he said to me, he said, "Mom, I love you." And I said, "And I love you, I love you too."
He got off work early that day, was seen on surveillance video cashing a check, and then went to Chap's Tavern in Roanoke. From there, Christopher walked towards the Food Lion in southeast Roanoke to meet a friend, according to Hubert.
He was earlier than what his time was to meet. He got off work early that day. He was in contact with very minimal amount of people on that Friday. We do have Chris's phone records from that day and know who he had contact with. Chris's cell phone mapping indicates that he was there in the southeast area and that he was very close to the proximity of Food Line sometime prior to 5 p.m. And that was the last contact that was made with Chris.
Hubert says he's been met with some obstacles in this case as time goes on.
The delay comes into people's memories, thoughts, and things like that when you go to interview people that are, not a suspect, but a witness to something or something like that. They don't have all the details remembered and all that because we don't work like that. There's no reason to remember all those things.
Since 2018, Virginia State Police has done around 100 interviews and traveled up and down the East Coast to track down leads and information. Even though Christopher is still considered missing, Virginia State Police is investigating this as a homicide. Hubert says he does believe there are people out there who know what happened to Christopher.
I have one particular person of interest. There are 5 parties that are very familiar with Chris's location and what happened with Chris. I didn't meet Chris, but I've met Chris through this investigation, no doubt about it. It causes me anxiety. It causes me a lot of time off work and everything thinking about it. I can't necessarily wrap my head around how this can happen to someone and that we're, 10 years later and I cannot get the momentum I need on something. I just don't understand it.
Both Hubert and Christopher's family ask for anyone who knows something to come forward.
So it can be solved, but it's not going to rely on me. It's not going to rely on the family. It's going to take somebody coming forward with that piece of information for Chris to be found.
Christopher's brother has a message for those who he believes had something to do with his disappearance.
You dirtbags. It had something to do with my brother's disappearance. We are going to find out. And we're not giving up. We're not going to give up.
Christopher's family is asking for people in the community to turn on your porch light tonight. Mary told me she wants to let the light shine to bring him home and that one day he will have justice. Anyone with information about Christopher Douthat's disappearance can call Senior Special Agent Doug Hubert with Virginia State Police. You can remain anonymous. Sophia Borrelli, WDBJ 7.